straight on to the main thing of the whole weekend, of course. And I'm sure there are plenty of you out there played out from the amount of football that was played. The Garvey Super Value Senior County Football Championship. 4 groups, 2 games in each group, plenty of matches, plenty good scores, plenty, I suppose, highlights, plenty defeats too for teams that'll be soul searching ahead of round 2. But Group 1 was the first one that we'll start with tonight. We have Liam Brosnan, of course, and John Kennedy. John Kennedy, who, you know, now is a starling, isn't he?
Star on the big screen.
Star on the big screen. Hollywood actor nearly. We'll test them out in Shannon Rangers in a while. First test of the weekend, Temple and West Kerry. Liam, I suppose to be fair, district versus club, but Temple were, I suppose, playing so many games week on. People were saying, would they be vulnerable? And West Kerry had a right go at him, hadn't they?
They had a right go at him, Donal, yeah, which was surprisingly enough, like we thought even last week, we sitting here, we said the clubs would probably have a slight advantage this weekend coming into the games, being, you know, with the time that the divisional sides had to prepare. But West Kerry, that was a game that really went down to the wire. I suppose, look, West Kerry were missing to call it from the Gaeltacht, which is a big loss. My head is gone now. But overall, I think they'd be very happy, West Kerry, going into the next round, because they know now that there's something there. But the only thing, they're kind of in a tough old group, you know, with East Kerry and South Kerry as well. So there's nothing granted, but they're meeting a divisional side now next week, so that'll improve them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose the fact that they scored 18 points is a huge positive. I mean, they were strong. Darrow O'Shea, of course, with 7 points. Adrian Splow went off injured. That might be a concern. Yeah, big concern for Temple coming into this round. The only thing about him, you know, they're sticky. Stephen O'Sullivan there, 1-1 again from play. You know, got a goal. I suppose that if it was, as we say, if it was the Cliffords, anyway, we'd probably be talking about it for the next 2 weeks. No, he glided past players, and some say he went for a point, and more say he didn't. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and it went over the goalkeeper's head and in the back of the net. At the time it was scored, whatever way we went in, it was a crucial goal, because West Kerry were I suppose, they were getting a little bit of momentum. They had a bit of momentum in the first half, and that goal kind of caught him. Then the second goal caught him as well. But I suppose to be fair about it, I mean, Killian Spillane kicked 8 points. I mean, there isn't too many teams that you come up against that will have a player who's going to kick that many points against you. Well, he's our county player, you know, so that's what, and I think myself and John spoke over the weekend at a lot of games we were at. You'll be looking for your county players to step up to the plate when the pressure comes on, and when most wanted, and he did. You know, he kicked the last point. He was really the hero. Really, it was 8 points he kicked altogether. So yeah, he was. But that's what you would be expecting. I think that's what the Temple management would be expecting from the likes of Killian. You know, the high expectations. You know, so, and he stepped up to the plate and he got him over the line. Yeah, absolutely. I think Patrick Clifford as well, for me, kind of stood out in that game as well. Kind of a all-action hero as well, up and down the field. Tyke Murray chipped in with a point, and of course Aidan Crowley got that goal as well. He was wearing number 15, but God knows he was all over the field. I don't think he was even playing wing forward or corner forward. He was everywhere. John, I suppose one gang that weren't everywhere were the Cliffords. This could even be a Clifford free show, which I suppose a lot of people will either be excited about or not. But East Kerry, it was a game they were going to win. They won it. Is that it?
That's it, really, Donald. You know, it was it didn't register much excitement anyway, being honest with you. It was kind of an inevitable outcome, I suppose. South Kerry have gone for a very youthful side, and you know, they were full of enthusiasm and they worked right to the end. A lot of skillful players, but you know, starting off. But you know, the East Kerry team, I suppose, led by Darragh Roach, who was really impressive, kicking some great scores. Emmett O'Shea in the second half, 2-2, one lovely goal, he chipped the keeper. Luke Crowley caught the eye as well in the corner, you know, very workmanlike and industrious, you know. Exactly. But overall, like, it was Donal Sullivan came to life in the second half, got 2 points. Overall, it was just to get over the line, I think, for East Kerry. You can see from the guys that were missing, look, the Cliffords, Rory Murphy, Paul O'Shea, Kieran Murphy. It was to get the first win, and I suppose it just lacked that bite, I think, a championship. And maybe Donald,
a lot of the games did, though.
They did.
I mean, not just this one. I mean, a lot of them.
And I think it was very obvious yesterday, you know, going in for the double bill and Tralee, the lack of the crowd. It's something we
Numbers
spoke
were
about.
small all weekend.
Numbers were small all weekend. Is it that people are burned out from going to club championship games? It's not knockout. Will the crowds? We won't see the crowds probably until we get to the business end. But I think some of the games reflected the atmosphere that wasn't there, that was missing because of the lack of attendance. But look, there was some good fare on show.
Yeah,
a lot of good performances.
Emmett O'Shea, 2-2.
Yeah,
I mean, South Kerry, I thought, obviously wearing a South Kerry hat, very brave to put a young team out. I didn't think they felt out of place. I mean, they played some great football. I mean, they left two soft frees after maybe in the first half. They would close them down. They came out the second half. They were 4 points down. They got the next 2 points. They got back into the game, and then bang, in nearly 2 minutes, Emmett O'Shea had got
probably the last 10 minutes, Donal, they kind of lost their way a small bit.
Yeah.
A bit of an inexperience, really.
Yeah, and we saw it in a few of the games of the weekend. For the underdogs, when you have the chance, you have to take it.
Yeah.
And there was a few mistakes made by South Kerry, and they were punished at the other end. And I think, look, even in the Crokes game, we'll talk about it later on, a misplaced pass led to the goal that was ultimately the difference. So the good teams and the good players will punish you. Yeah. But look, South Kerry, they deserve great credit.
Yeah.
They kept going.
Can I mention one man for South Kerry? Because I look, to me, they're all kind of young lads. You have Graham Southern thrown in the middle, but Emmett Daly, from Valentia.
Yeah.
What division are they in the County League?
Division 6.
Yeah, absolutely. So a guy from Division 6 in the County League can get to play against East Kerry, the county champions. What did he score?
He got 1-4.
1-5.
1-5 was it? 1-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why our county championship is so important, Donal.
Absolutely.
For the likes of these fellas.
Yes.
We've said it here for years and stuff.
Right.
That's where you want these guys can be showcased in front of the whole county and see what they have.
And I think it puts in perspective, they had no team last year in the County League,
Yes.
Or was it 2 years ago? And they came in this past year then. And it's great to see them back playing because there's great tradition there. And this is a shop window for this lad. And he didn't look out of place. He looked dangerous every time he got it. And certainly he knew where the goals were and he wasn't afraid to shoot.
Yeah. Well, if they can keep these fellas together, Donal, in another 2 or 3 years' time, this South Kerry team will be a handful for anyone.
Unfortunately is probably
try to keep them together,
the bigger test. But no, I thought they played well. Very young team. East Kerry obviously stand out. Yeah, Darragh Roach, absolutely fantastic. But he's been fantastic in the county championship for East Kerry for a couple of years now, and very strongly Glenflesk influenced as well. I mean, Luke Crowley, like I said, played very well. Patrick Darcy, I thought played very well, and obviously Jack Sherwood full back.
Dan O'Brien and King Gamble from the wings were attacking as well at will. But I just think that East Kerry probably never came out of second gear, though, to be honest. They were always kind of well in control.
Yeah. Next week in that group, Temple No have home advantage on South Kerry. Liam, how do you see that going?
Temple No and South Kerry down in Temple No, it's kind of it's a local derby. You could say that's going to be a humdinger, but I would expect maybe the club side, just by home venue alone, to come out on top of that.
Yeah. That ended in a draw last year, actually.
There won't be much between the two of them.
Yeah,
I just think the home
Spillane as well.
Well, Adrian Spillane is going to be
huge loss.
He's injured. Yeah. John, West Kerry, they're going to roll the red carpet out for East Kerry back there, and probably back in Gaeltacht or somewhere that direction.
I think they might have surprised a lot of people, with their performance the weekend. A lot of good players there. Like Liam said there, Brian O'Begley missing. But look, you'd expect East Kerry to win it again. I think they have the squad of players.
The squad, yeah.
And you see the numbers they have and the quality they have in spite of what they're missing. I still think they'll be that bit ahead, but they'll get a real test from West Kerry.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian might have been missing, but Carlo Begley, I thought, played quite well as well for West Kerry back there. Now, move on to Group 2. Group 2, of course, is Kinmare Field Rangers, Rathmore and St. Cairns. And lads, last week he said any of these two teams, if they put their mind to it, could come out of this group because, they were all fairly even. But two teams had 2 wins. Well, one team has to win, Rathmore and St. Cairns, a draw. Let's go to the Rathmore and St. Cairns one. It's Rathmore's first back in the county championship action again, kind of having come up. Liam, were you surprised at how good St. Cairns were? Because obviously you're the St. Cairns man in the house here.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised because when you look at paper...
But you gave them no chance last week, like. So you must have been surprised at how good they were.
No, but Rathmore, like I was saying again, the club teams were always kind of going to get the tip of the hat last week from us. But Cairns, no more than any district team, when you look at the paper, down on paper, like St. Brendan's on Friday night, you look at the players, Cairns will give a match to anyone. Mm-hmm. And I think this weekend coming against Kilmare, they will... And and over in Cordle then as well. We've taken many teams to Cordle. I remember the great Gaeltacht team came over one year to play us over, and it was a right humding every game as well. But look, Kieran's are solid all around the field as well, and it's just, I think this game will bring them on a lot, and especially when it's not a loss in as well. I thought Michael Reedy was excellent centre back. If they can get a bit more off with maybe the likes of Paul Welch up front, and it's just small little things. Maybe a bit of gelling now of this game will bring them on a lot. But look, you've got to give credit as well to Rathmore, intermediate champions last year. Able, the likes of the Ryans and these guys, Paul Murphy. Good footballers there. Like they'll fear no one either. So
Shane Ryan, let's talk about Shane Ryan.
I mean, into an option for them full forward for.
It's a comment that came in. I'll read it out. Shane Ryan's impact for Rathmore at full forward should give Jack O'Connor a bit of food for thought.
Definitely, yeah. Big man, well able to score, great hands, so. We don't want him as a fly goalkeeper, so we could play him.
But are you being disingenuous, like a big man? He's more than that. I mean, people are on about him being Kieran Donaghy and all that. He can offer far more than that as a forward. He's a footballer,
isn't he? He's a footballer, without a doubt. And look, that's why he's playing out the field with Rathmore, because he's so valuable for him. They need him up front. And that's with the last couple of years. That's not just after happening in the last 12 months. So it's definitely an option. It has been spoken about a lot, but when you look back at it, he's an all-star goalkeeper. Probably be an all-star again this year, hopefully. So it's a big decision, but it is definitely an option. But his two brothers, Donal, are definitely two guys that we can be looking at very closely.
Yeah. I wonder is there enough space for a whole Ryan bench, I wonder.
Imagine we have two Cliffords and we could have three Ryans. Would that be?
You're looking for players, huh? Talks about the other goalkeeper, the other end, still turning it in. Kicked two massive frees as well.
Yeah, a man said to me today, why did he ever get a chance for Kerry? But I suppose goalkeeper is a one position on any team when you've only one player really and you've the sub goalkeeper. Some fellas don't like to go as sub goalkeepers, but Sean Ogg has tried the test, gone through the test of time. It's been fantastic. So it reminds me, in O'Connor with his free taking. He's 45. He can ping it over the bar from 45 yards out, 50 yards out, and it's just like an arrow. And not only his kick outs, he's an ace for St. Kieran's, and he really drives them on.
Let's talk about another St. Kieran's man that needs a mention, I think, Darragh Kane, Ballymac. I mean, this game was kind of going away from him yesterday, came on as a sub. The other thing that was strange with St. Kieran's, I think their impact off the bench was massive. It kept them in the game and pushed them forward. They could have won it. But 3 points coming off in a matter of minutes, that's fairly good going.
Yeah, and I think Darragh's on a hive. He was very good for Ballymac in the junior as well. One of their main scoring forwards up front. So, and that just gets back to our districts again. That's a guy that's going to nail down a place now for probably this week incoming. Whereas coming into this week, the management team were kind of clutching at straws really and trying to pick fellas. But now, like Darragh stepping into place, so it'll make St. Kieran stronger again for the weekend.
Yeah, point apiece for both of them, so they're off and running. Kilmare, Shanmux and Field Rangers last year, John, of course, they were the story of the championship. I suppose many of us said, could they sustain it? They looked like they were going to sustain it for a good bit of that game yesterday. They certainly were in the running, but when it came down the back straight, Kilmare looked more cohesive. They looked like the club side, and they had Shawnee Shea as well.
Yeah, they had Shawnee Shea, and it was a big victory for them coming back on the back of the club final defeat. It was important to get back in the horse again, and they did. They're a really consistent team. We've said it here last week and over a few weeks. They play to their strengths, difficult to beat, and again, any team with Shawnee Shea and Stephen O'Brien, but their structure is very good. James McCarthy again doing well. Darragh O'Shea and Tommy Cronin, very honest players, and they're while Shawnee might take the headlines, kicking 7 points, the work rate and the intensity and the team effort, just about be too much for Field Rangers, and Field Rangers will rue a few chances. I think Cormac Dillon, a young player, he had a couple of chances, very unlucky, but they'll learn from that as well. And I think the draw in the other game has really made it competitive.
That keeps all four teams still in it.
It does.
And Killian Trent is a nice player.
Killian Trent is a good player, is right. Yeah. And I suppose.
Well, they had Joe Grimes as well, midfield. I mean, he caught a lot of ball. Donal Kamara, I thought, was quite good as well. And of course, a lot of these players were the players that beat Stacks last year and moved into the semi-final. So they are county championship types. Liam, just jumping across a comment from Kevin O'Sullivan after the game, because I was listening to it, and he says, we stopped feeling sorry for ourselves. So obviously they lost the county, the club, they lost, they stopped feeling sorry for themselves. They got back in and did something really strange, and obviously it's totally factual. That was the 6th week in a row that Kinmare, like Dingle obviously, were out playing football. That must take a toll on club players.
Well, I suppose it does, Donal, but the only thing about it, the training is, there's probably no training, it's only recovery during the week. And I think John sitting beside me here would agree that you'd love playing games. No, so there's no training really during the week. You're meeting up, you're recovering, you have a game at the weekend. That's all good once you avoid injuries. I think injuries is the big thing, especially for clubs that don't have big panels. You need everyone, especially when you're heading into a county championship. But Kilmare, I think the feeling sorry for them for themselves is well and truly gone, because they know themselves deep down they're not too far away. Mm-hmm. No, they were only a kick of a ball away from Dingle in the final. No, this county championship is, I know we're all going to be looking at East Kerry and what they have, but if you look back at it, Dingle were only a point away from East Kerry last year. Yep. No, was Paul Murphy to kick the drawing kick. Mm-hmm. No, so there won't be much between the likes of these teams. But I think injuries are going to be a big thing, because when you're in week out, week in week out, it's going to be hard. But getting back to the question, I think, playing games at weekends, everyone loves to play games. Yeah. You'll recover during the week, play a game the weekend. There's nothing worse than you have to train for 3 or 4 weeks before a game. I think a lot of players would just like the games every week
after week, and you're going. Right, there is 2 games of course in Group 2 next weekend. Rathmore have home advantage on Field Rangers. That home advantage will be important, Liam?
It will, yeah. I think Field Rangers will have improved as well. A lot of district teams will improve this week now. You'll see a bit of a difference. But I think the club and the home advantage is going to be a big advantage. So I would favour slightly Rathmore on that.
So Shane Ryan for 10 points this week.
Shane Ryan for 10 points, yeah, and Cahill and boys for another 2 or 3.
Roger, and putting him under half no pressure. He's a Field Rangers defensive unit coming towards him. St. Kieran's, John, at home to Kinmare. And it's like you said, I think you're totally right. The group is hugely open now.
It's hugely open.
A win now, but I mean, a team with 1 point playing a team with 2 points, a loss isn't going to destroy Kinmare if they choose to lose it. But if they win it,
that's right,
they're home.
Yeah, and Kieran's will relish the boys going out to Cordal, I think, and they'll have learned from that. Great confidence from that draw, and the divisional sides usually improve for the second game.
And Kieran's will bring a big support. Always do a big support.
Support. And Kinmare, they'll experienced campaigners. How they'll cope with Shawnee Shea. Don't be surprised if Kieran's get the result in Cordal.
Don't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I've fierce admiration for Kinmare, because they never say die. They keep bouncing back, and this is their 7th week in a row.
Yeah. There's some places that are hard to go to win games, and I do think, being a Kieran's man myself and played over in Cordal and county championship matches, it's like the boys going to Hartford the weekend, and we'll be getting onto that.
We'll take a quick commercial break. Now 2 groups down and 2 groups to go, Group 3 and Group 4. But before I get there, lads, a couple of comments coming in. And if you have a comment there tonight, 066 712 3666, or text us or WhatsApp us on 083 300 3300, just like John did. And John said, Donal, I was at a doubleheader yesterday in Killarney and was shocked to see such a small attendance. There was certainly no atmosphere, and it reminded me of the COVID times when only 200 people were allowed to attend games. Can you ask the panel why they think this is? Off you go, Liam. Were you one of the 200?
A lot of it, and John said it there a while ago. Basically, we're coming off a heavy club campaign, and it's not knockout yet, Donal. And I think a lot of people will be sitting tight and waiting for the latter stages of it. So I think that would have a lot to do with it.
Is there an element that we all support the players and we all love the players and the players should mean us, but we can't be bothered sometimes to go support them?
Well, yeah, definitely. And I suppose districts then as well, because I'd wonder how many from Curra went over this against St. Kieran's yesterday when they know they're going to be out again this Saturday. Mm-hmm. Same with John with Ashty. Many from Ashty go to see Shannon because they know they're playing again. So there'll be a small bit of that. Of course, they'll have all the will in the world, but to get the bodies at the game for the first rounds, especially when it's not knockout.
But I suppose the other thing, you look at it, families going to games, they're going through an inter-county campaign, getting to Croke Park, right? Then you're in with the club. we're talking about the players playing 5 or 6 weeks in a row, but the supporters are out 5 or 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And there's more to life than football as well.
Yeah.
It's not knockout. Maybe there's a food for thought. We spoke about it yesterday, Liam, in Nassastack Park. Is it time to come back and look at the senior championship, have it knockout, or maybe losers round? Because certainly it's not catching the imagination the way it is at the moment, and the crowds were really poor at all venues for the weekend.
I suppose the club championships have really taken off, haven't they?
Yeah.
So that really is...
There was huge crowds at the club.
There was huge,
yeah. I suppose the club momentum probably sucked a small bit out of it, and I suppose, like you said, it's not knockout till probably the quarter-final stages, or maybe at least round 3.
And then a bit of interest will come into it, yeah.
You'll be in and out. Another comment coming in, there was a lot of yellow cards, Liam.
Giving out yellow cards to no one.
Given out over the weekend, especially at the Rathmore game. Are refs trying to clamp down ahead of the real action? Was there a kind of we'll put the foot down now this weekend on the boys? Or to be fair, with the exception of maybe one game that John Kennedy was at, where some people had to walk to the line. There wasn't really a...
There wasn't really in all the games that I was at the weekend. I thought the referees did very well. They kind of used their, I won't say imagination, but common sense.
Yeah.
In a lot of things. So I didn't really think there was anything major that stood out, to be honest, for me.
So 10 yellow cards in a St. Kieran's game. You're
St. Kieran's aren't dirty, like. We're not a very dirty crowd out in St. Kieran's. But yeah, look, it all depends on the referee. I suppose a lot of referees go out with the mentality that they want to clamp down on the game early and not let it get out of control. But that's I suppose.
And of course, the other side to it is that a yellow card isn't given to a player unless it's a yellow card situation, regardless of what it is and time. So they were all merited. John, something having hit a poor old Donal, God almighty. Donal, why did South Kerry play such a young team at the weekend? John Kennedy.
I think that it's probably, they have a decision made, the management or the board, that they're going with young fellas, and I think it's probably the way to go.
It's a brave call by a district.
It is a brave call, and there's some household names there that we'd expect would be playing, but they're not. But these guys, look, they were organised, they were competitive, and they didn't let themselves down.
No.
And I think they'll improve from that. But, and they're probably looking for the future.
You'd like to know, did the older fellas, as they call the older fellas, did they show any interest in playing? It's the management would. I'm sure that no matter who shows up, the management will look at. And when you get to a certain age, and when you have done it before, it's very hard, especially coming off a club campaign again and step into this. So I think it's a good idea to go with the young fellas.
And I think as well, I was involved for a few years with Shannon Rangers. You will go with the players to give you the commitment.
Yeah.
And probably all of those guys were notified or contacted in some form or another. And the guys that came in, that's the panel that went with him, and fair play to him.
Yeah. One more comment before we get back to Group 3. I'll give it to you, Liam. Mid-Kerry and East Kerry, the only districts to win it weekend. Obviously, this is kind of district versus club. We might take East Kerry out of it because they were playing South Kerry. That's the thing. But by our account, we said 4 clubs won, and there was a draw. And Mid-Kerry were the only crowd that won on the other side. So if it was the Ryder Cup, they'd be, 4.5 to 1?
4.5 to 1. Yeah.
So it's well in favour of the clubs. But we expected that, didn't we?
We did. Look, if we sat down here, East Kerry and Mid-Kerry probably are the two better of the district teams. They were in the final last year. Looking at the players, looking at the clubs that they're playing with, and I always look at the clubs. They're playing a high division in the county leagues. They're very competitive in the intermediates and juniors and all this, and I think that has a big say. And Mid-Kerry, when we saw him yesterday against Spa, even though they were comfortable, they still missed a lot. They had 12 wides, and we'll talk about it when we get to it.
We'll talk about it now, because we bounced on fairly nicely by accident to it. Mid-Kerry 3-11, Spa 14 points, good score by Spa as well, and they were fairly competitive. Was that just a case, Liam, that the better players, or more of them, were on the Mid-Kerry side? Yeah,
I think they had, if we're matching the two 15s as footballers, probably Mid-Kerry were just slightly ahead. Like I said, I don't think Spa had any wide yesterday.
No,
not according to our programme anyway. And Mid-Kerry had 12 wides. I don't think Mid-Kerry would be happy coming away from that game, because I think if they were meeting a more competitive club team, they'd probably be in trouble. Even the guys that were coming off the bench, they were all. The thing for me with East Kerry is that they're 15, maybe 20 lovely footballers, all wore the Kerry jersey at some level, but they're just missing that I don't know, that little spark for me, and I found it last year.
They're too nice, like we did last year.
They're too nice, yeah, they're just too nice. I just think that they need that little bit of a spark, you know. They need that bit of a leader that's going to really bring them on. You know, they're all looking at each other, and they're all doing their bit, and they get over the line. But I think to win the county championship, they just need that little bit of a bit extra for me.
Yeah, they're not short on players, John. I mean, Killian Burke obviously is one that stands out, and I suppose week after week people are saying, yeah, he's one that's going to push on and push on and push on. Again, very good yesterday.
He did very well yesterday. You know, he's a leader. You know, he seems to take the right options most of the time, and he was very impressive. And to agree with Liam there, you look at the guys coming off the bench there yesterday: Liam Carey, Jack O'Connor, Colin McGillicuddy, Caleb Tehan. All these guys
excellent footballers.
Excellent footballers. You know, so it says a lot about their squad. I thought maybe an individualism came into play up front when fellas maybe didn't give it to the guy in the best position at times, but they'll work on that.
That's kind of a district thing, really.
It is, yeah. They created the chance, like Liam said, they're 12 boys, but still they created them, you know, and that's something you can work on.
They played a very counteracting game of football as well. I mean, they when they broke it down at half-back line or midfield, I mean, they were into the forward unit fairly lively.
Oh, they were, and you can any team that you have the likes of Pat Kilkenny and Mike Breen there, Darren Holden, he kicked up at great points.
Two great points.
He did
that. Like Sean O'Brien in the middle of the field.
You know, these guys, they know.
Keith Evans, lovely footballers.
Great pace.
Yeah.
You know, they will get it together.
But I just think they're too nice.
Yeah.
I just think, I know the big Kerry management are going to be listening to this, but I just think that to win a county championship, they're going to have to get a bit of an edge about them.
Yeah. So they won't be far off.
No, they won't be too far off. No, they're finalists last year.
No yellow cards. A word for Spa. Great club campaign all the way up till they hit Dingle, obviously, who were probably a class above most teams. Weren't blown out of it by any chance yesterday. You know, they competed well. Midfield, I mean, Dan Dunn, I thought was very good at centre back. Kicked 3 points. Vaughan midfield was I thought very solid. Evan Cronin obviously chips in with the scores as well. Very committed as well. And a man that I thought that covered every blade of grass, and he's probably older than most of us, and he won't mind saying it, is Michael O'Donnell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were talking about him daily at the start about playing the county championship, but it's as much for Michael O'Donoghue to be playing the county championship at that age and playing and performing and still performing
and still prove that he can perform at the top level as well, which he did yesterday. And I don't think Spa they didn't look out of place yesterday. You know, because like we said, they were up against a decent Mid-Kerry footballing team. I thought Dan O'Donoghue was excellent yesterday, in the middle of the field, which is a position where I wouldn't be able to kind of see him too often out around the middle of the field. Yeah. But he went like when they wanted someone to drag him kind of down the field and get a score and get on a ball, he was there. Yeah. You know, so he's really shining out as a beacon for me. We've seen him in the green and gold jersey again, but he's one fella that will probably make our list, you know, of fellas in the coming year. Shane Cronin, centre back, you know, all these guys, Evan Cronin, Tobin got the black card, all right, you know, probably hampered them a small bit, but overall, no, the better team won. Yeah.
But Spar still well alive in that group. The other two teams in that group, John, you got a bird's eye view of it, or maybe even a closer view of that. Rahilly's 121, Shan Rangers 116. I suppose in many ways this was a game Rahilly's had to win, particularly maybe on the form, the whole lot. And it's amazing how momentum can start. I mean, this could kickstart a championship run for them.
Oh, there's no doubt. Like, they were favourites. I said last week, Shannon Rangers, they could be kicking them. You know, like with most of the divisional sides, apart from the Brendans, they all quitted themselves quite well, even though they didn't win. But they played and competed. Same with Shannon Rangers. But, you know, the Rahillys, I think, their half-back line, Shane McKelligot and Ben Hannafin in particular, caused a lot of trouble. David Moore in midfield and Tom Hoare, like, what a 65 minutes he had. You know, his kicking was impeccable. He was up and down the field, and he was really a thorn on their side. And then you Tommy Welsh and, you know, Barry John Keane, they were very busy. They used their experience well. I thought Shannon Rangers, they competed very well. I thought that Robert Stack and Jack O'Sullivan did come into in the second half. Robert in particular, you know, he had a real battle with David Morton. And this is what championship football is about. This is a young
He's under 20, isn't he?
He's under 20. He's a young fella with great potential. And you won't meet better than David Morton at this level, and he'll have learned from that. You know, I thought Mitch Foley at centre back was very good. You know, they were missing Jason Foley, a huge loss with the injury. Hopefully he might be right for the next stage, you know. But I thought then as well, Jack Kennelly, he kicked some superb scores. Mikey Boyle, they kept going to the very end, and 'tis typical of a team that's coached by Pat Driscoll. You know, there's grit and determination, there's heart and there's spirit. But this was a big win for John O'Connor and Rahilly's. You know, you could see what it meant to them, because they're in a relegation playoff. As you said, momentum starts somewhere, and you know, it started there the last night, and there'll be a bounce going into training tomorrow night.
And that they saw Nagale the night before, and Nagale were moving well, so it kind of they're kind of saying we have to put down a marker here now as well. And I think
it was quite a competitive game, and it was interesting.
Well, I mean, it was a great score, 121 to 116.
116,
it shows football. It's interesting that you mentioned David Moore and Robert Stack doing it out in the middle of the field, belting each other or going for the balls. Bale, of course, is that connection, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Ogie sure was he himself and the Bomber and many more led Bale to a golden era for Bale football.
Yeah.
Robert is carrying on a huge tradition of the Stacks. You know, his father Fergus was a Kerry minor. His grandfather Robert is steeped in football, and Bob Stack, the great Bob Stack.
Right,
so I mean, tradition, we were speaking about it after the air. Tradition is unbelievable, like, and this guy, really nice guy, he's great talent, and there's, I think, a great future ahead.
And the one thing I'll say about Shannon Rangers, and not just because Kennedy is sitting beside me here, they were probably you could say that maybe the slight second, if not third, of the best of the districts the weekend.
Slight second, if not third best.
I'd put them close to me, Kerry, on performance.
It looks like you're going for the county board job or something. You're canvassing for delegates. We'll take a quick commercial break. There you go, and of course we're counting down, I suppose, we're reviewing weekend's action, and we're looking ahead to next weekend's action. Looking ahead to weekend's action in Group 3, Rahilly's and Spa, an all-club clash, Liam. And it really is up there for one of them to win it and move on, I suppose. If Rahilly's win this, they're home and dry into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and I suppose on performances over the weekend, you'd have to go for Rahilly's on this, and they have the home venue as well. So, yeah, counts the Rahilly's for me on that.
Dear God. Right, okay. John Kennedy will give you an easy one. Shannon Rangers, where's that game being played?
It's been played in SDA, I believe, Donal.
In the bowl, is it? Big
day for the club, in fairness now, and they're training there at the moment, and it's the home venue. I didn't realise it until I saw the fixture, but you know, it's something the lads outside will have great pride in fairness.
They'll be closing the roof, will you?
Roof will be closed, yeah.
Will we get VIP tickets to us, Donal, if we go?
The pitch side anyway. Mid-Kerry, of course, I mean, it's a formidable ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big ask. Look, Mid-Kerry is, as I said already, a huge number of players. I think they'll have enough to beat Shannon Rangers, but it'll be interesting to see how Rangers adapt after last week. Can they improve?
Yeah.
Had they a few players to come in? I think they made subs on Saturday night, and they worked. You know, Michael Slattery, Kieran O'Connor, Martin Collins came in. They acquitted themselves well. You know, a bit of competition, training Tuesday night, can we improve?
It's another step towards
It's another step,
and that's what they need to be doing as well. 4 teams in Group 4, Nagale, Crokes, St. Brendan's and Dingle. I had a comment there earlier, the St. Brendan's one, if I can find it. St. Brendan's for me were the big disappointment of the weekend. With the Stacks players, I thought they would be actually better, but they were actually worse than last year. What can they do to improve ahead of next weekend? We'll answer that in a second. But Nagale really turned them upside down, Liam, didn't they?
They did. Don't know, kind of unexpected, really, Donal. No?
I think the most unexpected thing was the manner of the defeat.
Of the way they did it.
Yeah.
And how poorly St. Brendan's were. Like, to kick 5 points only, very disjointed. And I thought we were all kind of looking at it on Friday night, and it was the first game of the championship, and we were kind of saying, are all the district boards going to be like this? No preparation or anything, but they just looked out of sort completely. No, but you got to give credit to Nagale. They went at them. I thought they moved very well. They kicked some fantastic scores. They got the goals when it mattered, and it kind of put Brendan's back in their backside, and they were kind of clutching for straws, and things weren't working for them then. Yeah.
Of course, look, the big name was there, wasn't he? Everybody wanted to see Stefan. How do you think he played?
I thought Stefan was very good. Like we said, if we can get a Stefan O'Connor injury free, he'll be addition for Jack O'Connor. That's the big thing, injury free.
Was there much of a test in that game?
There probably wasn't.
To give him any rating, to be fair. I mean,
well, you can only rate what you can see out in front of you, and he did shine. And
but people talking about having him back, I mean, based on one game and
too early,
is that just too much pressure even on the lad? I mean, he was in here with us a couple of times, and he's a lovely modest lad, but people running around the county, like, is there a feeling that just let him play his couple of games, let him enjoy himself, let him get back into the rhythm of the game and the whole lot, and then maybe talk about it.
You're always going to have that when you're a footballer and you play well, no matter if it was an old county league match, you're going to have that. And even with our young fellas that we're looking ahead for Kerry next year, it's the same thing. There'll be a bit of pressure. Do you think Barry is going to take any notice of myself and John Kennedy? But at the same time, he's one of these players that we could do it. He's a big, strong, mobile unit. Can play football. He's a strong defender. So I thought he was very impressive. The weekend, just for his movement and the whole lot. So I would give him definitely a thumbs up after that game. But then again, Brendan's were so poor, Donal, that we won't be getting a whole while carried away with Nagale.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Niall Mahoney from Aberdeen played fantastic at full back there as well. Jack Doyle, of course, was very good. Tommaso Hannafin as well. These are guys that are kind of under the cover, because I suppose when you look at Nagale, people talk about their county players, but to get them onto this level, they certainly have a lot of good club players, and of course the two Burks, basically with the two goals as well, the two brothers, and the other goal came from Kieran O'Connor. The other game, John, this was probably the VIP game of the weekend, Crokes versus Dingle, and for a lot of it, Crokes looked like they could do it, but God knows another Gainey popped up.
Yeah, it was. Look, you never write off Crokes. I said it last week, and we'll always agree that no matter what they have, Tony, when we heard Tony Brosnan was starting, huge boost.
Great to see him back as well.
Great to see him back, in fairness, yeah. And things didn't start too well for them, but they went back to the old guard. Sean Fitzgerald, John Payne, and Dahi Casey came on as well. Crokes seemed to have the game in their hands, and then, a misplaced pass, and Conor Gainey, whatever performance he gave, but what a goal. He picked his spot. Shane Murphy, no chance, cracking goal. Paul Gainey, very influential. Tom Sullivan, a real battle with Micheál Burns.
You could see Mark O'Connor's improving.
You could see Mark is improving as well, exactly. Yeah. And, overall, a big win for Dingle. Considering they had the final the week before, celebrations, all that goes with it. You could see what it meant to them as well. But Crokes, even in defeat, a lot to be taken from it. I would think they're the two teams that come out of the group.
They're a different team this year, Dingle. The game last week and this game, their games they probably would have lost in the past couple of years. Yep. Coming down the wire, they just couldn't get over the line. But they're a different team. They didn't panic, even though Crokes were up to 2 points, same as List or Kilmare the week before. They never panicked. They just kept going. But they believe in themselves, and what they have is they have scoring forwards.
Two players I thought were hugely stand out in that. Obviously Conor Gainey.
Yeah.
1-8 in a county championship game. God, it's a lot of scoring against a team like Crokes who have players who can mark you. He can't be too far away from that door. He might have been in there before maybe and circled out and came back again, but picking players on form over the weekend and scoring players, he's right up there.
Oh, without a doubt. And last week was the same. He was one of the main talismen as well last week. But what I like about Dingle is their movement as well. People were saying you could have Mark O'Connor could be full forward 1 minute, it could be Connor the next minute, it could be Paul the next. It's just the movement and the versatility of all the players that they have. That's why they're important. They're hard to beat at the moment.
Yeah. And I think it was a game. It was the highest paced game over the weekend.
It looked like a championship game.
It was a championship game, and the quality in both sides, the kick passing, the ball to the advantage of the forward going in, Mikey Gainey, Paul Gainey, Tom Sullivan, then on the other side Brian Looney, he's still doing it, the likes of Fionn when he came in.
Mark O'Shea for me, we're looking for midfielders.
Outstanding.
He has to be knocking somewhere around that door. He's got the height, the strength, the attitude. He's improved over the course of time. He's a footballer. We're talking about Mark O'Connor coming home to Australia. it's a dream, to be fair, isn't it? Talk about the guys who are playing. Mark O'Shea must be on that pick, surely.
Without a doubt. And I think he was kind of on the verge of the training squad in and out last year, but you could see he's really developed into a fine big young fella now. Just looking out in the field, he kicked two massive points. Yeah, not only that, he's work rate, and he what I like about him is he throws his body around as well. And look, he's a Shea, very intelligent footballer. Yeah. He's Shawnee is the dad, Pat's the uncle. It's like young Stack from Field Rangers. The history and the whole lot is there in the family. So yeah, I think he's going to be definitely one we'll have to look at.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I think you mentioned for Tom Doyle, he came on, he kicked two great points.
He's under 20, doesn't he?
The outside of his leg. And
he's
on the Terrace side. 2 super scores, so
very quickly, lads, we're pushing on towards time. Nagale and Crokes next week. Nagale are at home. Off we go. Now you're going to have your friends Stephen who you want, and Mark O'Shea probably come up against each other maybe.
That is going to be that's going to be a nice game. I think of all the games there to go, I think that's the one I'll be picking on Saturday to go to. I just tipped the Crokes.
Based on
with Tony Brosnan's back, massive addition, just their experience, their cuteness.
There's 3 inter-county players on the other team, sure.
There is, but these Crokes boys.
You're writing all those players off.
I'm not writing them off now, but it's going to be. They're going to have. I think Crokes will have just that little bit of cuteness around the field. I think.
So you're going for the Tony cuteness.
I'm going for the Tony cuteness, against the Nagale cuteness.
So Nagale aren't Tonys, no?
Yeah, so I won't be listening to the game no over Donal. I shouldn't have said I'm going at all.
Tony team, St. Brendan's have a couple of Tonys on the team, and they're playing Dingle. I mean, how do you lift St. Brendan's off the floor, knowing that Dingle are coming?
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it was a tough weekend for the Brendans. You had 2 teams coming with huge disappointment, the Stacks and Ardfert, just missing out. It was very difficult 7 days later to go in 6 days in the championship and get it going. I think they'll have, they will improve, but Dingle, if to me, like if East Kerry don't win it, Dingle are the team, and I think they're the best club team out there, slightly ahead of Crokes, but I think they have the panel, they have the confidence, they have the silverware, and they won a game the weekend, and Liam spoke about it. Other years they mightn't have won that game, but they grounded out.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, a couple of comments. Joan called there to say that she thinks the low attendance was down to the costs attending, especially for families. I know it's a double header, but it's too much to bring the family, and John Kennedy touched on that. Serious problems with the County Championship. Games lacked pace and energy for the weekend, to be quite honest. Not many players seemed want to be there. No wonder the attendances were so low. Well, to be fair, I think players want to be there every day of the week. I mean, in the lack of pace or whatever, I suppose different teams are playing each other from different grades as well. The current format and the schedule of the County Championship is not working. Club finals still hanging there, yet to be played, and is there a commitment from the players? I would say no district team out of 5 days after 2 were in difficult club games, of course, and the county board need to have another look at the whole schedule. My God, they probably need to add another 4 weeks to the year and have a 56-week year maybe. Very disappointing weekend of action in our Premier competition, with the country watching, and this guy is certainly wanting to get rid of the group stages, and he wants to head back to a bit of a knockout. A bit of a knockout. There's no such thing really, is there? I mean, it's either knockout or not, but I mean,
I don't know, can you go straight knockout though? Because the districts, I think the reason why all this was brought in to give the districts a bit of a chance to kind of regroup and get together.
The one year there was a knockout. Who lost?
East Kerry.
Yeah. Wow. So maybe that drama should be there.
Well, that's the other side of it, it's always a great buzz, even when we were playing, and we always went out. It was, you're either in or out. That's at the end of the day.
And Charles asked the most important question of all, John: is there any team seriously going to challenge East Kerry? I think we've identified Meath, Kerry, and maybe Dingle.
Yeah, definitely.
Dear God, that wasn't too bad, was it? How many teams we went through the whole lot of them? Come here, did you find any players for me? Liam Brosnan has a list.
Yeah, I have.
Call out your list quickly. You have 2 minutes.
I'm just go briefly, and I think John has we kind of marked our list together. They're fairly close. If I give you a pen now, John, you can cross out who you want to. I think Mid Kerry, Killian Burke.
Okay.
Mark O'Shea, Dr. Crokes.
Okay, I gave you him, sure.
Thanks. I had him well done before we gave Dara Roach, East Kerry. No, I know he was in there, but he wasn't in there. I think he's Dan O'Donoghue Spa. I have the 2 Gainies, Dylan and Connor for Dingle. Tom Hoare, Counts Rallies. I thought he did very well the weekend. Rob Stack, Shannon Rangers, but I think he's under 20, isn't he? So he's one for the future. James McCarthy, Kilmare. Michael Reedy, St. Kieran's, and Mark and Cahill, Ryan Ratmore. They're my list for after that weekend.
The Ryans have to go together anyway.
Ryans, yeah. I said I'd only have 1 from each two, but I had to put the 2 away.
You have to leave one outside the door. Which one would you leave outside?
I would leave any of them.
You bring them both.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack will be listening to that. John, do you find a few extras?
It's the same really. We spoke about it before and we cross-nosed. Donal Maher is a guy from
Yes,
Dua.
Absolutely. Dua, yeah.
It has potential as well, And we'll probably see more over the next week or so. But it's great to see these names cropping up, because these are guys that have done well. Will they do it again the second week out or the third week? Remains to be seen, but certainly potential.
The thing about the list that you have there now, Liam, I mean, you keep that list and next week put a star beside the ones that came a second time, and a third time, because obviously I suppose, look, there was one good week or players played well against another team, but the second week, you've no Gael players on it, have you?
No Gael players now.
Alright. Thought you had one there a while ago.
Stefan would be in there, like, yeah. You told us to pick the guys that are not in there.
I think if Stefan can avoid injury, he certainly has a potential.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic.
There's no doubt about it.
There's absolutely no doubt about that.
But we need to find players. We need to find, what I'm looking for is we need to find midfielders and we need to find attacking half forwards. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm kind of looking out for, because I think we need scoring forwards.
And I think what Stefan, not putting pressure on the way means to the Kerry public is there was a buzz Saturday evening going into the game talking about how well he played. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who you're playing, but the fact that he's back, he's fit, he was playing well, and that's what we got about Mark O'Shea and all the guys he's mentioned.
Same with Tony yesterday. Everyone was kind of happy to see him out in the field
regardless
again.
What club they're from, they're happy to see the good players playing.
Yeah. The most important people who understand yesterday picking their selections for Jack next year. That's the most important thing. Listen, guys, thanks very much. We'll do it all again next week in round 2, which I suppose is a very important round, because some teams could be even out of the championship next weekend after a second loss possibly. That was Liam and John, and we will now head to news and the weather.